first, I'd like to introduce Sheree Atcheson. Here on the left, we have a recorded keynote from Sheree, who is an advisory board member at Women Who Code and former director of the Belfast Network. She's listed as one of the UK's top most influential women in tech and an international multi-award winner for her services to diversity and inclusion in industry. Sheree is a global diversity, equity, inclusion senior executive, advisory board member here at Women Who Code, and also a contributor to Forbes. She is also the author of Demanding More, which was just translated into Portuguese and Spanish, as well as English, a book which aims to teach readers about how deliberate exclusion has been in systems and society so we can purposely and deliberately be inclusive moving forward. And after Sheree, I will introduce Shauna Gregory, our Chief Program Officer. But let's hear now from Sheree.
Everyone, I'm Sheree Atcheson and I'm an advisory board member at Women Who Code. I am listed as one of the UK's most influential women in technology, a multi-award winner for my services to diversity and inclusion, and I've been doing diversity and inclusion senior leadership for over 10 years. I'm a published author of the book Demanding More: Why Diversity and Inclusion Don't Happen and What You Can Do About It. And I also write regularly for Forbes, Thomson Reuters, and a whole host of other places if you're interested in finding out more. I'm super excited today to talk to you about leading from every level. I think it's such an important topic, especially given the workforce that we have today, which is the most diverse workforce when it comes to age that we have ever had. I think that's a really important point when we remember that experience and expertise aren't necessarily always attached to seniority as well. And so thinking about how we all make an impact and how we all lead and demand more is really, really important. When I started my career, many years ago now, I started as a software engineer, and that's also when I started helping with Women Who Code, and at that stage their UK expansion over 7 years ago. From that part of my career, I was a relatively junior engineer, but actually I spent a lot of time as a senior leader in the industry, helping organisations create partnerships with Women Who Code, working on their diversity and inclusion and so on. And that meant I had a real balance of both, in one part of my life, very junior, but in another part of my life, very senior. And that went on for a number of years, and it was a difficult balance. But actually, now as a senior leader in all elements of my career, I was able to take that skill that I had from being more senior in one avenue and really utilise it as a junior engineer. And here are some things that I think work really well when we try to do that. The first thing is being very succinct. It's really difficult for people to get on board with what we're trying to say if we're not quite sure what it is ourselves. The reason why that's difficult is ultimately we want people to receive what we know that's in our heads, and sometimes it doesn't come out of our mouths, myself included. What's really key when we think about leading at every level is to start to think about the way that you communicate that's comfortable for you and gets the point across that you want. At the start of my career, I found really writing things down was really, really useful. Really having notes or bullet points that I could speak around, but ultimately had a skeleton. And that's really helped shape how I do presentations now. I deliver global keynotes to audiences of thousands and thousands of people. And actually it doesn't faze me, it doesn't bother me. But that's because of that framework that I have kind of ingrained into my head of being very succinct and wrapping back around. The second thing at leading at every level, I think it's finding a mentor or a sponsor. Sometimes it's really, really daunting to do this by yourself. I totally understand that. And sponsors and mentors have played a really big part in my early career too. What I would suggest is that if you find someone or you think that someone might be a good fit for you, maybe it's because they're of a similar background to you and in a similar industry, is that you simply ask them. There are a few more flattering things for me than when someone asks me to be their mentor, even if I'm not the right fit, because ultimately it means that someone has seen something in me that they think maybe I could learn something, and also she's done something really, really cool. Ask someone, never keep it to yourself. The only thing that will be of a detriment to you is not asking. If you ask and someone can't do it, that's okay, you start again. But finding a mentor really, really helps you guide with that decision making, bringing you across into the things that you are interested in. What I would also say is remember that not all mentor relationships work out, and that's okay. Please remember that if you get a pairing and it just doesn't feel right, it's okay to say to someone, you know what, actually, I don't think this is what either of us really want, and if it's maybe not working, so I think maybe we should just call it quits. That's totally fine. Any good mentor will totally understand that. What I always have if I feel like someone isn't quite the right fit is I will say to them, I really appreciate that you've asked me to be your mentor. Do you feel like you're getting what you want out of this? If you do, that's great. But also, I think maybe I know someone that could be an even better fit for you. And actually, I've spent more time when people have asked me to be their mentor, and from the beginning I knew I wasn't the right person. I'll find them someone else that will be, because I can at least be that avenue. The third thing at leading at every level is find a community. Sometimes it's difficult to do these things by yourself. As let's say, a junior or a mid-tier person in your career, you will not be the only person trying to do that. Try and find some sense of community. It's one of the reasons I love the work that Women Who Code does, because it's really about creating bonding, finding a community of people going through similar things with similar paths. Now, whilst it all won't be linear, there's still something that really helps with that, batting ideas off each other, even within a team structure, sharing ideas together with those that have the ability to change decisions. And the fourth thing I think that's really important with leading at every level is listening. All too often we speak more than we listen, and the problem with that is that we make very biased decisions, because ultimately we're really kind of just serving ourselves, and we don't want to do that. Of course we don't want to do that, but we still do it. So what I would say is that embed that type of practice in early. Even if you're not a senior leader yet, you will be at some stage. So what's key is to start to think about the leader you want to be in the future right now, and really great listening is a good part of that. I want you to think about how you listen to people, really making sure that actually you don't just listen waiting for your turn to speak, but actually you're listening, digesting what someone has said, and then providing a response. That's one of the best leadership skills that I think anyone can have. And then my final and fifth point on leading at every level is practicing vulnerability. It is a really difficult ask, I know it is. It's something I do very openly. It's taken me a journey, of course, but I'm very comfortable with that. But what we want are leaders that are empathetic and vulnerable and can make decisions. Very often we don't have that, and then we make rushed decisions, we make biased decisions, we make exclusionary decisions. What I would love for you to think already when you're starting to lead at the level that you're at is practicing the leader that you want to be in the future. Really think about what it means to be open about mistakes, be open about successes, and giving credit to everybody within the room. Leading at every level is very much a doable thing, but it's really key that we don't just race ahead and mimic the leaders that we maybe see in front of us, because actually our own leadership style is our own leadership style. Always remember that you have a voice, and I know, given the work I do in diversity and inclusion, that not everybody's voice is heard in the same way. My call here to those within majority demographics is to remember that you have an avenue to provide those underrepresented folks with avenues to speak and to be heard. Remember that leading at every level doesn't just mean that you are the only one speaking. It means that you are providing avenues for other people to speak, to be heard, and to have their insights actioned. Leadership is an incredibly rewarding job, but it is busy and it can be difficult. But at the end of the day, knowing that we've made an impact, knowing that we're doing something to change something, leave it for the better, is the best part of the job. And certainly I have been leading from every level, right from when I was a computer science student right now to a global senior executive and published author. I hope you have found this useful. Thank you so much for having me. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Nirashika on Twitter, and you can get me on my website at shereeatcheson.com. Thank you.